know and love, and you already see that we're underway with a little bit of fighting here in the early stages. Buff Enjoyers on the Amber side, and of course TF2 Boomers on the Sapphire.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think obviously Buff Enjoyers heavy favorites coming into any Deadlock tournament with that young MikaelS on the team, a force to be reckoned with within the Deadlock scene, making waves already. But I'm loving the composition from TF2 Boomers, and they're gonna be no slouches taking third place from downtown Showdown 1. I'm curious to see how this plays out.
100%. I think a big thing that we were talking about a little bit between ourselves is the fact that it feels like it's a DPS overload. Buff Enjoyers feel like they're just trying to dominate. It feels kind of right out of the gates, take advantage of that factor and move in to the mid game in an appropriate status. And on the flip, TF2 Boomers more all around, more of a generic meta pickup. But you can see here already the Viscous that was actually banned out in our game 1 here in the second half is just dropped down to about 267. We mentioned before the HP values are so dangerous to kind of watch, when we have to keep eyes on who is healthy and who is not, because that can influence the lane state very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I'm happy to say that these lane phases aren't nearly as critical as they were prior to the patch the other day, but
yep,
they still are highly important, especially for a team like Buff Enjoyers, who is that damage overload, and they're gonna want to have that damage advantage going into these team fights coming out of the lane stage.
Now waiting for a little piece of that comfort. Right now, everyone just trying to get a gauge of the land. You can go ahead and see right now, Boink just, all right, let's go to the side, get a little bit extra, not allow anyone to get some free regen off, and ensuring that you get as much blood as possible. That's going to be a kill, though, as Osmos goes ahead and takes, or Dimop takes one on the far end. That's a great kill to start things off for the side of Buff Enjoyers.
That was the Yamato taking out Tank Man on the Moan Krill,
yep,
right? That's
yep,
gonna
Dimop,
feel good.
Beautiful job.
And that gets Yamato that little bit closer to her ultimate, which is so necessary to her survival. I know that I've talked to some Yamato players that say laning is just a struggle as her, because she's so easy to take out.
I mean, that's one of the things. It's the risk-reward situation, is now that risk is coming in another form, as we're now on the far left side here. The outer lane is going to be played for of its own. You can see the Abrams listic is saying, okay, let's have a little bit of fun, as that's an annihilation. That was a trade out. You saw the Kelvin as well as a Haze both be eliminated, but still Buff Enjoyers leading with about 3k feels pretty dang good.
Yeah, they've got a little lead here. But Shiv keeps sustaining a lot of damage and isn't getting... Well, actually, no, never mind. Shiv and Haze are well ahead of Mirage and Kelvin in this lane. I thought it was a little closer, because Shiv keeps taking a lot of damage, but Viscous is sitting at very low HP. Oh, hang on.
I mean, this is now a possibility to kill. The cube is out, but I don't think it's really going to do too much, and that's a breakthrough. However, this time it's actually who has to run away, and you may have pushed a little bit too far. A nice hook to get you up and above, but the down might is. Turn around with the sky high drop. It's a beauty of a drop with the Ivy.
That Ivy coming in with the heals and the sky high drop to turn around. What a turn. I thought for sure with the goo cube coming out there that that Shiv was gonna die trying to certainly getting low, but man, that's 2 games in a row we've seen MVP Ivies. Ivy, the playmaker.
All right, well, hold on. I do want to point out at the current moment that another, I want to say, quiet force to be reckoned with, as other lanes are starting to dominate now. The right side inner has also seen a massive swath of kills going over to Buff Enjoyers, and not only that, Dimop was able to gather their second solo kill in the far right outer lane. So big props there to everyone on Buff Enjoyers. I'm not gonna call the Ivy the MVP just yet, man. Like, that was a great individual lane play. The Ivy of the game #1 was an all-around amazing one.
Yeah, maybe too early yet, but still sick play either
100%,
way.
100%.
And Kelvin still no ult. 8k lead for the Buff Enjoyers, although Abrams keeps playing at low HP and dancing around with Mirage. Mirage is doing all right over here. That might be a threat if it stays in contention for good farm this game.
I mean, that's That's a
right.
rundown. Very nice goo ball to try and get in the way as much as possible. The McGinnis is so good at ensuring that Shush is going to fall here. Boink happily takes a kill for himself.
Yeah, Ivy not able to do anything there. No big hero play that time with 3 players and a giant goo ball rolling right through India. But still happy to sit here and farm. They're not shoving the Ivy out. They're shifting their attention over here towards the left-hand outer lane there. York is, I believe it's called in the streets.
What are the street names?
It's from left to right. It's York, Greenwich, Broadway, and Park, and that coordinates with each color that the lane is.
There's dance here on Park Avenue, as you should, as that is going to be the Haze trying to eliminate a little bit of a mole in the ground, but popped up and desired to be a kill. It's going to be a chase on the Mo and krill as much as possible, but that's going to be a little bit of a slap down, a little bit of help to help out, though, and that's eliminations of a piece. On the far end, you can see Z4 saying, yo, what's up, Zergy? You're not going to enjoy this one too much. Quick little beam to the face is going to bring the dome of rumble of a
Mikael.
2v1. When there's nowhere to run, you're in the pits.
That's a nice Kelvin. Good track down with the beam, catching the Paradox out. Infernus coming in to help out, catching out Mikael, who's actually having, I mean, he's doing all right, but he's not off to a huge start in farm, so I think capturing him out right there, that's a big play. But hold on now.
Oh, elimination wash through now as the Ivy swings hard for these kills, and the dual wing is allowing a chase even further. The kill swathing through as that's 3 across the board. Well done to the Buff Enjoyers as they now slaughtered all 4 Guardians to the 1 of TF2 Boomers that they gotten on the far left side.
Yeah, that's going to be an early flex slot. That feels good, especially for this Haze who bought 4 early weapon items. She's going to be she's actually off to the races with her farm. 4-2 and 4 right now. That early flex slot. She's about to have the max level of her passive as well with the, forget what it's called off the top of my head, but you know what I'm talking about.
It's a piece of heaven for any I want to say any Haze player. I mean, the fixation, a lot of people say, is one of the best tools, just allowing for that DPS roll. So, you know, maxing it out early is going to be so nice.
Yes, fixation. That's what I was looking for. And that's max level now for her. She's going to be like I said, off to the races in farm. I think Buff Enjoyers, we're going to see them start snowballing here soon. TF2 Boomers, they've had a few answers, but I think they're going to be wedged into their base slowly but surely.
I would agree. This also feels like it's going to be vastly different than some of the other games that we watched. The other ones were just a straight steamroll, just out mechanicking, you know, basically taking everything away from the opponent. This one feels like a calm surgical procedure. If Buff Enjoyers continue this process, I want to point that out. This is not out of the woods just yet. It's very dire. Don't get me wrong. TF2 Boomers, they're down about 9k souls. It's not great. About 10k now is the farm. They're trying to farm with some of those inner city camps. But it's, you know, Buff Enjoyers are slowly ramping themselves up to be that devastating force that we can watch take over the game.
Yeah, and I mean, TF2 Boomers, I think they have the opportunity to play around that, right?
Yep.
These are all professional video game players. They've been at the highest level of esports. They're no stranger to coming into a matchup as a huge underdog. So I'm sure they're familiar with being able to play around that, and that's kind of looks like what they're doing right now. It's a 10k lead for the Buff Enjoyers, but TF2 Boomers are playing very safe. They're farming their side of the map. They're staying next to each other right now, and I think the next spot is going to be trying to contest for this urn, especially with everyone on that side of the map.
Yes, they're starting to figure out how they want to play it, but of course with this little bit of a roll in, I think everyone's just kind of taking a step back, saying, okay, where do we actually want to try this engagement? Actually, as I was talking right there, TF2 Boomers are saying, yo, let's go ahead and get this kill. They dropped a 3v2 in and was able to eliminate that shiv on the far in the center, left side lane. So very, very nicely done to have that opening. However, the Infernus is going to be locked down inside the Snowstorm Globe. Are you going to be able to burn hot and stay alive? And it seems like you have done enough. The airdrop comes in, slams down more than enough time, but the Ivy is stunned down a little bit more, but it does not matter as you get that kill. Now, can you get out to safety? That is the question. How quickly can you get a little bit of help to follow through on another as the chase is on? The Kelvin has to burn their way to a safe retreat, but another stun into the wall. Is this glorious action here on the right side inner lane? DPS from the far round as the Moen Krill is gonna join in. But with that engagement, it all levies into Buff Enjoyers getting the better of that engagement.
Yeah, I mean, they almost got away. Still went down. They didn't get any kills on the side of TF2 Boomers. And they baited out the Mirage ult. They baited out the Moen Krill ult and the Kelvin ult from that entire exchange, which Moen Krill and Kelvin ult will come back up fairly quickly. But yeah, that's also going to be the earn for Buff Enjoyers as Shiv's wandering his happy way across there. And there is nobody for TF2 Boomers besides a Viscous wandering away from that drop-off.
I love the fact that Shiv even stopped by to gather to help pick up a few. Just wandering around like, I wish I could help out. It's all good, though. I'll go ahead and drop the urn off. It's a nice little piece of the puzzle, though. As the urn is getting dropped off, we're seeing this little push. TF2 Boomers looking on the inner right side. A couple swap arounds. We're seeing the dance of death on the end. Right now, though, we are watching the Infernus look at a little bit of a lane clearing scenario, but that's going to be the kill. That will be a definitive kill onto the Kelvin. Now following a little bit more as that's the Abrams to fall down on the other side, though, so everyone's looking at a little bit of danger spot. We go ahead and take a look. That was a little bit of pinch on the Walker, but really it's the DPS output from Buff Enjoyers that net them a 2-for-1.
Yeah,
make it
looks
more.
like they might get one more here. Catching Wraith there. She's going to go down.
Oh, that's a slice and a piece of heaven as they chase their way out. Oh, okay, there's the snipe that we were looking for.
Yeah.
Down goes the Wraith. And because of that, the Walker on the far left side has also been annihilated. Buff Enjoyers starting to break into this game at breakneck pace.
Yeah, this is what we kind of started to, what we expected to see just a few minutes ago. We were talking about we'll slowly start seeing the Buff Enjoyers snowballing. At that point, I think they were at a 5-6K lead, 10K lead a few seconds after that, and now they're up to a 16, 17K lead. It's just slowly growing. You can see they're all playing next to each other on the map, and there is all of their lanes are pushed out together.
It's such an easy catch as well, it feels like. Buff Enjoyers, this 5-player collapse in the hero's call for blood in their own, and MikaelS, this Paradox player, for good reason, is heading the way over, joining with the rest of the squad for the mid boss. One of the fastest takes here at 1340 into the game.
Yep. Oh, there's a Wraith ult. Hang on now.
Yep, they're going to try an engagement, but I don't think it works. TF2 tried to pull a little bit of a Stealerino, but it ain't going to work. Instead, you lose another Moen Krill and might lose another as well. The Wraith falls, so does the Kelvin. It's a watch of 4 as TF2 Boomers, the steal goes wrong.
Yep, you can see Infernus thinking about coming out of his base to go defend the walkers, but no, you got to just let those inner walkers go. Viscous headed back to base. Ivy's pushing out that park lane over there on the right-hand side. And yeah, this should be at least all the walkers down off of the back of that team. Knocking on the door, but I think we're seeing Buff Enjoyers hop just straight into the driver's seat of this game and go pedal to the metal and not look back.
I don't think they ever stopped being in the driver's seat. Maybe they didn't go, 70, 80 miles per hour, 100, kilometers or anything like that. It was this build-up. They never let up off the driver's seat, though. I don't think I've seen them take
Well, I like to
fight.
think like the TF2 Boomers were like in a John Wick action movie car chase. They're like the guy trying to fight them out of the car seat, the driver's seat for a little while. But MikaelS and the Buff Enjoyers, they kicked him right out onto the side of the road, and now they're not even looking behind to see if he's okay.
All right, yeah, I love that analogy, actually. If anyone in the chat also knows about that, 100% kudos to you. Right now, we are watching as there are no walkers, as you mentioned, Big D. This feels like it should be kind of that finisher at the end of the day. We are looking at one of our largest souls discrepancy right now at about 35,000. And you can take a look, the split across the board is pretty even. And to me, that is terrifying. There's not a single player that you can actively look at and say they're the ones carrying on Buff and Joyce. Everyone is doing their part. Granted, the Haze is sitting at 21, but everyone is kind of jumping in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, having your spread be the lowest player being 5K below you on that, and hang on, before I get into this, I think we got something brewing here.
Oh, yes, we do. That's going to be elimination number 1 before the Wombo even comes out here, and it's going to be the Abrams slaughtering in the back line. Go ahead and pinch them in. It's a kill of 2, and the follow-up is next. Viscous running for your life. Ain't no gel going to hold you here. You are limping your way back to the spawn point, and it looks like that will be all the eliminations as 3 total are down, and the mini Guardians will fall just as quick.
Yeah, that really should be game here. I think that Rejuvenator's a big boost here, and like you said, the spread of these souls on Buff Enjoyers makes it so that there's no easy target for TF2 Boomers to pull out of the team fight or be like, oh, there's, you know, Abrams on the map, grab him while he's, you know, because we know he's gonna be the weakest member. And that goes back again to the Buff Enjoyers just constantly playing next to each other and having each other's back. I mean, these guys are proving that Team Deadlock is the best Deadlock, and it's pretty unbeatable until you figure out how to play as a team like they do.
I mean, right now, it is Buff Enjoyers slamming down with the airdrop. Go ahead, stun them out. The patron cries in a weakened state, as this will be TF2 Boomers booming on site. It is GG at 17.5 minutes in, and Buff Enjoyers will move up 2-0.